Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie Podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely. Pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 221 of the Mistress Carrie Podcast. And before we get to this week's guest, John 5 from Motley Crue, I want to remind you about the Mistress Carrie Birthday Bash happening Saturday night, September 28th at Rascals in Worcester, Massachusetts. It's sponsored by 100 FM The Pike. It's 21 plus. Tickets are on sale now. That night, you could see Rotten Apple, the premier Alice in Chains tribute band, and Justin Jordan. The Mistress Carrie Birthday Bash, September 28th at Rascals in Worcester. You can get the details in the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. My guest this week is guitarist John 5 from Motley Crue. He made his first appearance on the show on episode 67 back in September of 2021. When we talked back then, we spent a lot of time talking about all of the artists that he'd collaborated with over the years. And well, now he's the guitarist in Motley Crue. Just after this interview, Motley Crue announced the release of their canceled EP that's coming on October 4th, featuring the new song Dogs of War, the title track Canceled, and a cover of the Beastie Boys' Fight for Your Right to Party. All three songs produced by producer Bob Rock. Motley Crue is getting ready to headline the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut this Saturday night, August 31st. And directly after the show, John 5 is headed to Boston for back-to-back solo shows at the City Winery Boston on September 1st. You can get the links to get tickets to both shows in the show notes of this episode. So allow me to reintroduce you to John 5. Mr. John 5, thanks for coming back on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Are you home right now? You look comfy on the couch at home.
Yes, I am home, and I am comfy on the couch.
And as always, guitar in hand. Last time you were on the show, I had to look it up. It was in September of 2021. So it's been almost 3 years. And we talked a lot about how everyone that loves you has to just deal with the fact that you have a guitar in your hand constantly.
Yeah, it's like my security blanket almost, and I'm always playing. It's, people would think, oh, that's so cool, that's so fun, but after a while it gets, people want to take their head off. So it's a lot.
When you become a guitar player, I've been told the progression of the calluses, that you have to toughen up your fingertips. You play so much. How long would it take you to get rid of those calluses if you stop playing cold turkey?
It's funny because when you first start playing guitar, you develop these really big calluses because your body, your skin is like, what's going on? And then after years and years and years, this is the wonder of the body. Your skin starts to go back to normal, but you don't have that thick callus on the tips of your finger anymore. It's very strange.
And it's all the touch as well, because you talked a lot about that you're a light-touched guitar player. So I would assume that if you're a guitar player, that really pushes hard on the strings with your fingertips, that it would be a little bit tougher on your hands.
And that's also with people that have problems later on with arthritis or anything like that. Because if you're like really doing something with a lot of strain over the years, that's going to happen. But luckily, you know, knock on Churro. Oh, there's Churro. Say hi, Churro. Can you see him?
I'm so glad that the dog is on the couch with you, because
always
since I talked to you last, there has been a new addition to the questionnaire on the Mistress Carrie podcast, because Geezer Butler came on the show after you, and he let it slip that he's got 13 cats and 5 dogs. And when I asked him how he keeps track of them all and how he comes up with names for them all, he said that he and Gloria named them all after gangster rappers. And
oh, that's pretty cool.
And ever since he told me that, I ask every musician about their pets and where they got the names from. And I call it the Geezer question. I blame it on Geezer because it's not something I would have really asked. And now I kind of have to.
Right. Well, Churro, we adopted Churro, and he already had the name. And it just, my wife loves churros so much, it's kind of just fit perfect.
They're so delicious.
Yes, they are so delicious. But I love that idea of the gangster rap, you know, like names like, maybe, you know, if Churro didn't have his name, maybe he would be called Little Stank or something. Or Dookie Shoes.
That's one of the things I love about doing this show from my own studio is that my dog Wednesday is like right over there on the purple couch. So John 5's got the dog on the green couch. I've got the dog on the purple couch.
Well, we have a cat named Wednesday as well.
No way, you do?
Yes.
See, and it's not after the Netflix show. I'm talking OG Addams Family love here.
Yes, absolutely. That's what let's see if I can grab Wednesday, but probably
Wednesday,
not going to happen. But yeah, she's not around. But yeah, that's Wednesday is super rad. And we adopted Wednesday, and she already had that name.
Come here, say hi.
There's Wednesday. Hi, Wednesday. Hi, Wednesday.
Isn't she cute?
He's the best. And our cat, the only female cat or animal we have in the house is Wednesday.
See, there you go. Do you have Instagram accounts for the pets?
I don't.
Have you gone that insane? Because I've gone that insane.
I haven't gone that insane because, you know, it's just, it would be a lot. And I don't really have the time, you know?
Yeah. I have been described as a lot before, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, I do this like Kiss account as well, this Instagram account. And it's a lot, you know, keeping up with mine and then that as well. It's a lot.
That's one of the things that happened since the last time you were on the show is the final Kiss shows. I wanted to confirm with you, is it true that you have the last picture of Gene Simmons in the makeup? Is that really true?
So it's the honest to God truth. So I went to the very last show and all of the, you know, I've known the guys forever, but all of the road crew is our road crew for Motley Crue. So, you know, I went to the last show and we just got back from, I don't know where we were, like Japan or something crazy. And my wife goes, "You're getting on a plane in like a half hour, you know, your car's coming in a half hour. You're going to go to the last show," because I was like pretty wiped out. So I went to the last show and it was very emotional. It was great. It was crazy. And then I was watching from the soundboard and I was waiting for everyone to, you know, huddle out. And you know, it took a while. And so I was walking towards, because I was leaving through the backstage area and I was walking out and I just saw like Gene talking to a couple people and he was still in his garb and all that stuff. And we were talking for a while and just chit-chatting. And then we took a quick picture, and then he walked into his dressing room. And then I remember, like, I was finishing up talking to, like, I think Sebastian Bach or someone. And, you know, when people walk in and out of the door, you can see the person. So the door was opening and closing, and he was taking his makeup off. So it was like right there. It was the last picture. Pretty neat.
It's so crazy to even think about. Like the last time Gene Simmons wears the Kiss makeup. It's like, what?
I know. Who knows? You know, who knows what will happen? I don't know. But it looks like that was the last time. So, yeah, I mean, it was I was so fortunate and so lucky for that to happen. Very strange, very strange. It was a incredible night. I'll never forget.
The guys in Kiss got to pick the last night. More recently, Aerosmith had to announce that they're retiring from touring because of the vocal injuries that Steven Tyler had during the Peace Out Farewell tour, and he's been trying to recover. Talk to me about your hands and the idea of protecting them so that you don't lose your career. Because, like, Steven Tyler's a healthy guy, but he just can't sing anymore, so he loses his career. If you could be a healthy guy and hurt your hand and lose your career because you wouldn't be able to play guitar anymore.
Yeah, it's something I don't even want to fathom. It's just sounds horrible. It's just like, I just can't imagine it, because it's literally all I do. It's literally all I do, and it's my comfort. But Steven Tyler, let's take it to the next level. And I mean, Steven Tyler, he changed the world. You can go in any part of the world and everybody knows Aerosmith songs, but he's such an incredible talent. And, it really is a devastating thing to, the world.
It's such a crazy career too, because hitting the heights that Aerosmith did in the 70s and then to reinvent their careers. Hi, Churro.
Churro's barking because there's people outside. Churro, you stop barking. It's okay, Mama.
But
okay, sorry.
That's okay. But to reinvent your career that many times, like how many times did people write Aerosmith off as being done? And then they came back bigger and more successful the next time. It's crazy.
I know. It's crazy because you think of 70s Aerosmith and like incredible, right? And then you think of Pump or something like that. You're like, oh my God, they came back and just kicked ass. And then you think about like
Run DMC.
Oh my God, and Pink, and there's so many hits, and they just keep coming. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. What a career. What an absolute career.
They were my first rock star interview ever. A month into my radio career. I just got thrown. Talk about tying lead weights to the ankles of someone and throwing them in the deep end of the pool. I was like 3 weeks into being a radio DJ, and they're like, you're going to sit down in Boston with Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. I was like, oh my God.
Wow. Well, what a way to, talk about jumping in the deep end of the pool.
Yeah. I have video of it, and I just look at it and I'm like, I didn't know I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I definitely didn't know what the hell I was doing back then.
No, you know what you're doing. Uh-oh, we're going to have to pause for a minute. Hold on.
Churro's being naughty.
I'm going to put him in the other room so he doesn't freak out. All right. See, that's the magic of doing Zooms. That's why I'm not, you can't run away from what's going on.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
The other thing that happened recently that I wanted to ask you about, it was like the shot heard round the world for heavy metal. What did you think about turning on the Olympics and seeing Gojira? Because everybody was like, did that just happen?
I didn't see it.
What? You didn't see it?
I didn't see it. I'm so sorry. What happened?
Well, just that there was a heavy metal band included in the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Everybody was
that rules.
Yeah.
That rules. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. I didn't even know.
Oh, you got to go and watch it on YouTube. It's Gojira played with an opera singer on the side of a castle with decapitated Marie Antoinettes in the windows. You got to watch it. You're going to freak out. It's so cool. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
That's
you can check it out.
The greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it was very cool. I have to ask you about a couple of things. First of all, when you were on the show last, we were talking about all the artists that you've collaborated with over the years. And towards the end of the interview, I was like, all right, John, come on, give me an idea of what you've got coming up. Some artists that may be out of left field that you're going to be working with. And you were like, I don't know. I never know what's going to happen with my career. And then you worked with Dolly Parton and you joined Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Talk about burying the lead.
I know, you never know what's going to happen. And it all has been such a dream. Like, I don't even know how to fathom, like, listen, first of all, we're so lucky to be alive and to be doing what we love. And when things like this happen, you're like, you can't even imagine it. Like when you're a kid, like, and you think about, oh, well, maybe one day I'll do this or one day you'll do that, but there was no chance when I was like 12 years old where I was like, I'm going to join Motley Crue one day, like you just don't dream about things like that, but, or I'm going to be on Dolly Parton's record with Paul McCartney and like all these, it's like, you don't think about that stuff because you don't dream that big. At least I never did, it's like crazy to me, but I'm very fortunate and very appreciative of everything.
Let's tackle Dolly first. She's such an American treasure. Was she as wonderful as I imagine her to be working with her on the record?
Yeah, she is incredible. She is a sweet, sweet person. I've met her a bunch of times and she's always been so kind. And it's just that, that Southern sweetness, that Southern hospitality, just so kind and sweet. And that's what I like, I always treat people how I want to be treated. And she's so kind, but she's so important to, music. She's been doing this for so long, making just hit after hit after hit after hit. She is so important to the music business and music lovers of all around the world. It's like, it was such an honor to be a part of that record. And she called me, and I was like, I was driving to rehearsal and I was like, oh, a Nashville number. I don't know, but it wasn't like a telemarketer because it usually says spam, And so I picked it up. She goes, hi, John, it's Dolly. And I was like, oh, wow, and I didn't, I knew it was her. I wasn't like, Dolly who? But it was incredible. And we just had such a great conversation. And, it's just a dream come true. And then on my birthday, I got a gold record, from that record. It's just really, really, life is good,
Happy belated birthday. I saw the gold record from Dolly on your Instagram.
Yes. It's incredible. I mean, what a birthday present, right?
The best rumor I heard about her is that she's sleeved in tattoos, and that's why she always wears long sleeves. Is that true?
I don't know, but if that kind of rules, you know?
It would rule.
Oh my God. I just love her so much. Like what her interviews and everything, what she says are great. I saw a little clip of an interview and they said, like kind of a dumb question that the guy who was interviewing her asked. It's like, what's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning? But Dolly being so smart. I mean, she's so smart. First thing, because it's a stupid question. What is she going to say? Oh, get up and like have coffee, go to the bathroom, whatever. She was like, well, I usually get my clothes on and go home. I mean, what a smart answer.
She is an icon for answers like that.
I just love it. I love it. Love her.
When Dogs of War got released, I sat down with Nikki for a while and we talked about the whole process of you joining Motley Crue. And one of the first things that I asked him was if he had to have a mafia-style sit-down with Rob Zombie to get you away from Rob because you played with Rob for so long. And he actually said that he feels bad that, like, Rob was bummed out that you were gone and that Nikki felt really bad about that.
Yeah, it was not ideal. I'll tell you everything that happened. I called him a couple weeks because we had a show coming up. We had 2 shows coming up. We had Louder Than Life, and then we had Aftershock, these 2 festivals here in America. And I called him a couple weeks before the festivals, before the first festival, which was Louder Than Life with Kiss, and I think it was in Kentucky or something like that. And so I said, Rob, I'm going to be joining Motley Crue. I just want to see, I'm so hungry. I just want so much more. And I just want to experience life. I want, to have all these different experiences before I can't do that anymore. And I just want to have that for my life so I can look back, And I even said, I can do both, I can do both or whatever, there's nothing bad. It's just, we have no bad blood or anything. I just want to experience, it's like, I just want to keep moving. And I love Rob and we were very close and all that stuff, but it's also my life too. And I just wanted to experience different things. And so he was like, he was cool about it. And then we did the show Louder Than Life and it was great and all that stuff. And then I had one more show to do with them, Aftershock, because I would never, ever, ever leave anyone hanging. That's just, it's just the thing I would never, ever, ever do. I would always finish my obligations with anything I was doing. So here comes Aftershock, and he gets Riggs back, and but didn't tell like the crowd or the audience or anything like that. And I think because my time frame might be off, but the show happened Louder Than Life. Aftershock in San Francisco, and all of a sudden I'm not on stage. So everyone's like, what gives? The audience didn't understand what was going on because there was no explanation. So, but that's how he wanted to do it. And then I think like a few days later is when they announced me in Motley Crue, so, we're friends and I care about him and all that stuff. And I love his music and he's got a great band, so I just hope he's not too salty with me.
Motley Crue is such a legendary band. Obviously, if they're going to let Mick Mars go and you're going to join the band, I'm sure you had some expectations about how the fans would react. Has it been better or worse or exactly what you expected it to be?
Oh, that's a fine question. It is, they have so welcoming. They've been so welcoming and so kind, like really, really nice and sweet about me joining and how I'm doing on stage and all that stuff. So I'm so happy about that. I just couldn't ask for anything more. It's been really, really great. The fans have been absolutely wonderful. So I'm lucky in that sense, you know, because I have such a respect for Mick Mars. I love him so much. We're friends, and you know, I played the music just how it's supposed to be played, like how it was written and recorded.
Nikki told me all about the inspiration behind the lyrics of Dogs of War and said that you guys were already in the studio kind of working on it, and he wanted to come up with lyrics for the riff. But what he didn't tell me is where the riff came from, because it's such a monster riff on the song. Was that your riff? Where did it come from?
You know what? Okay, let me get the guitar. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me get the other guitar. Okay, so the riff.
It might be hard for sometimes iPhone's noise canceling is too good. So I'm hoping.
Can you hear that?
No.
No?
It's crazy. Yeah, I can't hear it.
Okay, hold on. Let me move this. Hold on. Hold on.
I love that you have dog balls underneath the couch, because every couch in my house has a dog toy under it or crammed in the cushion. So I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can move this here. And if this works, this will be great.
I had to do this same thing with Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick. He got so frustrated because he wanted to play me all these riffs, and I was like, Rick, I can't hear you. And he's like, I'm going to make this work.
Let's see. And if this works, great. If it doesn't, then we'll just talk about it. Let's see. Kuro, stop. Okay, let me turn it on. Let's see. Because I love breaking things down.
Well, that's what I want you to do. That's why I'm happy that you're going to do it, because Nikki went into this whole thing about the lyric.
Yeah. Yeah?
No, I can't hear. I can hear like every fifth millisecond of it. It's weird.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so the riff, the Dogs of War riff, you know, we were just messing around in the studio, and obviously I always have a guitar in my hand, and I'm playing things and we're jamming, and I just start playing like this riff, and they're like, oh, that's really cool because it's got a cool groove to it. But it was so interesting because Nikki had this vocal melody for like the bridge, and I just followed his melody in the bridge, and it worked out really well. Everything came together really quick. Like Bob Rock was like, we need this like kind of siren effect, you know, Dogs of War. So we need like kind of a siren, and what's a very distinct siren? And I was like, oh, like those ones they have in England where it's like, and then when it drives by, it drops down in tone. And so I did that, and you can hear that in the intro. But everything went really, really smooth and quick, and we had a blast. And it was such a cool thing, because how I always recorded is I'm in the control room and I'm playing and stuff. And they did it like old school. We were all in the live room set up. I was sitting here, and Nikki was over there. Bob Rock was in the middle, Tommy. And I've never recorded that way. And it was so cool. So when you hear it, it's like a live track, you know, like everybody just recorded. And it was so magical. It was just really magical. And it was something else. you know?
Well, Bob Rock is a legend in the rock world. Was that your first time working with him? And what was the experience like being in the studio with that guy?
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. It was like, because that was the first time I met him, so I didn't know what it was going to be like. And when we all went into the live room, I was like, wow, that is insane. So it was something very special. You know, this interview I'm so sorry because my cat Herman is over there just screaming. I don't know what is going on.
I can't hear it though. I can't hear the guitar. I can't hear the cat.
Thank God. Okay, thank God.
No, you're good.
So yeah, it was something very special, like to work with Bob Rock. And, you know, I used the guitar that James used most of the on the Black album, on the Metallica Black album, and I used that guitar on Dogs of War, so it was really cool.
Do you own that guitar, or was it in the studio and you just got to use it?
Yeah, I just got to use it. Bob Rock owns it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the one that says "Eat Fuck," I think, or something. Yeah.
I mean, when you've got credits like Bob Rock has credits, why wouldn't you have James's Black Album guitar just laying around in the studio?
I know, it was incredible. Super cool. Yeah, really cool. And that's on the whole song.
When I talked to Nikki, I was asking him about plans for Motley Crue. He hinted at a big announcement in Hollywood in October that I should be waiting for. And I told him if it was going to be in early October that I wanted an invite to whatever it was because that's when my birthday is.
Wonderful.
Can you give me any insight into what he was hinting about? Because he was a steel trap with the details.
Absolutely. I'm going to spill it all right now. No, I can't.
Come on, I have to try.
Yeah, isn't that great? What if I was like, yeah, this is what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. I ruin everything.
No, it would be great for me. It would suck for you, but it would be great for me.
Yeah.
Well, Vince has come out and said that you guys are talking about doing more touring in 2025. I mean, you're going out on the road. You got a date at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut on August 31st, like right around the corner.
Yeah, I think we'll always this is just me saying it, but I think we'll always just keep touring and playing, you know? I think that's what I feel. There's no plan for well, I don't know, you know, but it's just, we just all have such a great time together and we enjoy each other's company. And I think that's really something special because, you know, I saw an interview with John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin, and this was so interesting. He goes, yeah, when we get off stage and we go home, we never talk to each other until, you know, we see each other at rehearsal or the next show or something like that. And I just was like, wow, I just thought that was so wild, you know, because I mean, I talked to Nikki and Tommy and Vince all the time. I'm surprised Tommy hasn't texted me during this interview, you know, we're just that close.
Well,
you know?
I see him on your Instagram all the time, that you guys are constantly doing stuff together.
Oh yeah, all the time. And Nikki moved away, but when he was here, we were always going to the mall and doing stuff like that. So I just couldn't imagine just seeing those guys or not talking to them until the next show. It'd be so weird.
I saw an interview, I think it was with Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he and Flea have that kind of relationship. He's like, I don't think I've ever been to Flea's house. That they have this very symbiotic work relationship, and when they get together in the studio or to tour or whatever, they do that. But when they're not working, they just kind of go and do their own thing. And as the rhythm section of one of the most rhythm-based rock bands ever, you would think those guys would be tied at the hip, but they're not.
I know, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange. Luckily, I've never been in that position. So, but yeah, we're about to hit the road I think me and Tommy leave on Friday and then just do shows. And then you were saying Mohegan Sun coming up. And then right after Mohegan Sun, I mean, like right when I get off stage, I jump in the car, get to the bus, and then I head right to Boston for our first my instrumental shows. So it's gonna be a lot.
You have a hairless Sphinx cat.
I have 5 hairless Sphinx cat and a hairless churro dog. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about shedding in John 5's house.
No, just shredding.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about those solo shows at City Winery because I would imagine, because my rock star career ended with my clarinet in the high school band, that when you, say, play a Motley Crue gig, right, that your whole day is planned around what time you go on stage. And you warm up at the same time, you eat at the same time, you do all of that. But you're doing 2 shows at City Winery. You're doing an early show and a late show. That's got to screw up your whole, like, internal clock.
It's so weird. I love to play and I love to do, it's very strange. I don't know if it's from me growing up or doing this, but I love doing these kind of shows. And it's something really special. I just really love doing these kind of shows and then love doing the big shows, big crazy shows. So I guess what it is whenever I have a guitar in my hand, I'm really happy. So, but I'm so excited to play these kind of shows. I actually was thinking about doing a whole, I mean, life is short. I want to do everything. It just, because I do a lot of country stuff and all that stuff. I wanted to go do a country tour and just play all like bluegrass or country songs in like the most famous honky tonks around the country. I just think it would be so weird and so fun,
Last time you were on the show, we talked about people that weren't familiar with you and then go to your show and they see what you're wearing and what you look like and you pull out the mandolin and they're like, what the hell is going on? Have you picked up any new instruments? Because I know you're always tinkering with stuff. Have you started experimenting with something new musically?
Actually, yes. We were in Japan and we were in Japan and Tommy goes, dude, you got to come to this store. They have this instrument. It's hundreds of years and it's super, super old. And they have them, they make them still today. And they're very primitive. And they're like these, I forget the name of it. Shimasen, I forget the name. And so I was like, oh my God, this thing is incredible. And it's got it's unbelievable. So I think Tommy got it for me. And I was like, dude, you don't have to get this for me. It's so kind. And I played it at the show, at the Motley Crue show during I think right before Same Old Situation. So you got to look for it on YouTube. And they just had to put a mic on it. It's not electric or anything. And I was just playing this thing. And it's such a traditional instrument in Japan that the place went crazy.
You must love the guys from The Who in Mongolia with those traditional instruments that they play.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super cool.
Well, you're going to be at Mohegan Sun August 31st, 2 shows at City Winery in Boston on September 1st, at Hampton Beach on September 2nd, and then in Lebanon, New Hampshire on September 3rd. So, we're not going to be able to get away from you for a while, which is a good thing.
I know. And it's funny. Just now when you were talking, Tommy just texted. That's great. That's great. So I'm super excited. We're going to go all through Canada and everything. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. Super excited.
Nikki told me the story about the Beastie Boys cover and some of the other songs you guys worked on with Bob Rock. Any timeline on when we're going to get to hear the rest of those songs?
I don't know, but because we play the Beastie Boys Fight for Your Right live, and it just rules because everybody knows it. Yeah, and everybody goes crazy. I'll tell you one thing, it's really fun because we all sang, we all sang, and it was just so much fun in the studio. We just had a blast doing it.
I remember when that song came out in high school, I don't think anybody would have believed you if you had said that is going to be a rock anthem and a staple 30 years from now. People would have been like, shut up.
I know. It's crazy. You never know what's going to really connect, but those are the kind of songs that can connect with people. And I think that's what is so important because I can't write lyrics at all, but that's what I love about lyricists is how they can connect with everyone. And that's one of those songs, I really love that.
Well, you might not be able to write lyrics, but, people sing the riffs at shows too, which always cracks me up that they're screaming the riffs at you.
Oh yeah. That's pretty incredible. It's really, really great. So, when you go to South America and Mexico and all that stuff, it's insane. So it's a lot of fun.
I love the idea of you looking down on a crowd too and critiquing people's air guitar skills from the crowd.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching them do it in front of you, and in your head, I'm assuming you're just trying to keep yourself in the song and in time.
Yeah.
But are you analyzing their air guitar skills at the same time?
I know. Or when they're singing things like lyrics and because how sound travels, they're hearing it different than how we're hearing it, because of the time travel of sound. So it's tough.
What's going on for new music for you? Because I know obviously you're always writing stuff and whatever. Is there another solo album in the works? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm releasing singles, and I just released a Hollywood Story, and this company is doing a documentary on me, and we took all this really cool footage, and it's kind of like a preview of the documentary that's coming. And there's a little bit of everything in this new song in the video, and it's really cool. So I've put out The Ghost, Strung Out, a Hollywood Story, and then I'm going to do this other one that I have finished. But I don't know if I should even say, but...
Oh, you should.
I might get in trouble, but Takumi is his guitar tech, and he worked with Prince forever.
I met him.
Yeah.
What a cool... he let me hold Prince's guitar that he has.
Yeah, which one? The one with the leopard?
I don't know.
Pickguard? Okay, so
he wouldn't let me take a picture of it. He just let me hold it.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to record this song with Prince's main guitar, his main Telecaster. So it's if that happens, it's going to be insane. So very special, very exciting. I have the song all worked out, and it's just because I love Prince so much. And we never got a chance to jam together, but we wanted to jam together. He wanted to jam with me, and that was so cool. And, I'm a Telecaster player, and, I'm going to get a chance to hopefully play his Telecaster on this new song.
It's near impossible to measure the influence of a guitar player like Prince, or more recently we lost Jeff Beck. And when there's these players that kind of have inspired generations of rock stars, how do you even try to quantify what Prince means to music or to guitarists in general? I mean, he just got inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and his songwriting is equal to his ability as a guitarist.
It's true. Like we were talking about Dolly Parton, we were talking about, Steven Tyler, we're talking about Prince. These are important people. Eddie Van Halen. These are important people in our life for humanity and music. I mean, there's certain people that I think we should have just had protected.
Put them in a bubble.
Just put them in a bubble and say, listen, you're very special. We need you around as long as possible. Michael Jackson, all these artists, Steve Jobs, all these people. You just need to put certain people in a bubble and go, listen, we're going to take care of you because we want you around as long as possible.
I just imagine that those people look at the world and see the world in a way that nobody else does. That they look at the world and their eyeballs don't work the way everyone else's do.
Absolutely. Their brains, yes.
Yeah.
And that's you're 1,000% right.
The last time we talked, you told me that you were working on the documentary. This was in September of 2021. And you said it'll probably come out next year. So you just told me that the documentary, you're still working on it. So are you going to tell me it's coming out next year again? When's this thing coming out?
Well, it's not that it's not like, oh, well, we're going to get it done. We're going to do it. It's just so much shit is happening. That's the thing. It's just, there's so much stuff that's happening. And so we're like, oh, well, we got to put this in and we got to put that in and we got to put this in. There's so much that's happening. So I just want it to be the best that it can be. And it's a very good message too. It's about, mental health and trying to get it done without medication and doing all this good stuff. It's a very positive documentary. And, because there's a lot of dark stuff that happened that I wasn't going to put in and that nobody really knows. So it's going to be really something else. And it will be coming out soon. I know that.
If you had told me 5 years ago that the rock and metal community would be leading the charge in the discussion about mental health, I never would have believed you. And it's unbelievable how many artists are championing this and being so open and so vulnerable to talk about their own struggles, obviously spearheaded by the loss of people like Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell. But the fact that you're bringing it up now too, that the rock and metal community is really saying, hey, this is something we all need to talk about. It's amazing.
Because we're all human, we're all human and everybody goes through this. It's not like, there's no way that guy can go through it. Listen to his music, it's impossible. No, everybody's human. And so it happens. And I think talking about it, but what what happened with me is I had so many deaths in my family. Everybody around me was dying, for, during a few years, just dying, everybody. And so it was making me crazy. But I got through it without medication and I just got through it, through playing guitar and things like that. So there's a lot of things, that we can do to get over this without medication.
I do a lot of work with the military, and that conversation is the same kind of thing, that dealing with the mental health struggles and finding a positive outlet for all of those feelings and being open enough to talk about it, to realize you're not alone. It's a really important message.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than going, God, I'm freaking out. And I'm and then the person doesn't understand. What are you talking about? You're freaking out, and they just don't understand. That's that makes it even scarier,
Well, I'm so looking forward to the documentary, whether it comes out next year or 3 years from now when you and I sit down and talk again. I hope it's not that long, but I'm hoping it comes out sooner than later.
Yeah, it's just there's so, like I said before, there's so many things happening.
Well, stop doing so much cool stuff.
Yeah, it's cool because Dolly Parton starts it all off.
Oh,
and she like introduces it. Like, like those old movies where there's someone sitting in a chair and they're explaining the movie and then that, so it's like that kind of thing. It's really cool.
I love the fact that John 5 can just call up Dolly and be like, "Can you be in my documentary?" And she's like, "Why, sure, sugar."
Yeah. It's the best. It's really fun.
Well, I can't wait to see you with the crew at the end of August and then at City Winery for those shows on September 1st. It was so good to catch up with you.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you, and we will chit-chat soon.
All right, I'll see you later. Bye, Churro.
Hey, bye, Churro. Bye.
There he is, John 5 from Motley Crue, the band headlining the Mohegan Sun Arena this Saturday night, August 31st. You can check out John 5 solo, 2 shows at City Winery Boston on September 1st. You'll find the links to get tickets to both shows and the link to John 5's first appearance on episode 67 of the Mistress Carrie Podcast in the show notes of this episode. You'll also find the link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the podcast that features all of my guest music and all the songs and artists that we talked about in the interview. You'll also find all of John's links, Motley Crue's links, and the Mistress Carrie links too. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share the Mistress Carrie Podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday, plus every weekday you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report gives you all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at MistressCarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.